Hey everybody, this is Rich, and you're with Beekeeping with Rich. Uh, they say that necessity is a mother, and they're right. Recently, I had the need for something which I hadn't seen a need for before, and that is a 5-frame nuke queen excluder. For a couple of different reasons. Uh, I wanted to make sure that a nuke didn't have any pressure on it, but I'm not trying to build it up to make it into a 10 frame. I was trying to build it up just to give them away. But I wanted to make sure the pressure was off until I could find somebody to take the 5 framers. So I wanted to put some 5 frame queen excluders on there. Went looking online. A lot of places don't have them at all, and the ones that do, like everything else, they've gotten incredibly expensive here lately. So my first thought was, well, why don't I just cut down a queen excluder, one of the old ones I have, to make a new one. And of course, my first thought was just cut one that was the way they normally look, 5 frames wide. But since I'm an 8-frame beekeeper, it's not like I can cut one down the middle and get 2 out of it. If I'm cutting one, I was only going to get 1 out of it, and a lot of waste. And even, it's like, well, that's not a great option. And then I started thinking and remembered something. See, I like to read the old journals, the old American bee journals from 1914 and such, or the leanings in American bee culture and things like that, and some of the old manuals, particularly the ones written after 1900, because we spend a lot of our time reinventing the wheel, and there's a lot of things the old timers knew. And one of the interesting things I had found was that your standard inner cover, like this, was at one time a queen excluder. Not that she was actually excluded, but they would put something that looked just about like this on the inner, on top of the brood chamber. And if the bees were under some pressure, they could go up through this and make honey up above. And there's a certain brilliance to that, because if you're working up in the honey super up above, you're not really messing with the bee funk very much down here, because this is covering most of it. And it eliminates the argument that a queen excluder, or rather, queen excluder is really a honey excluder. And yeah, she could get up there, but if there was a band of honey on the top of just a few frames in the middle, then she's not likely to. She's most likely going to stay down below. So this is a pretty brilliant idea, and actually I think next spring I'm going to try this on some of my hives. I'm going to just use this instead of a queen excluder and see how well it actually works. But that's not what I'm doing here today. What I'm doing here today is just based on this idea. Waray's book in particular, a lot of people don't realize that at the beginning of it, he talks a lot about the old skep manipulation systems and how they can be improved. By the time box hives came in, skeps no longer looked like this, and they were just one chamber. Skeps tended to be built up like this with a flat top, a circular ring in the top of it that you put a board on, and they would put another straw super or even a wooden box super on top of that. And there was no queen excluders there in the sense that we mean them. They just put that up there for the honey. And I thought to myself, where did we get the idea that the queen excluder has to be full size, side to side, end to end? So I took one plastic queen excluder for an 8-frame, cut it into 3 pieces, and just took it and stapled it to a piece of Luan doorskin mahogany, put an outline on both sides. And now here's the secret of this one. If you'll move in a little bit. Back before I had a table saw and could rip things, I'd bought 20 or so yardsticks once when Home Depot had them on sale. Because take a good look at a well-made yardstick sometimes. They use the best quarter sawn, clear lumber. So all I did was set my table saw, rip them down the middle, and that's all I did is I glued them on both sides. Took 1/2 inch staples. When I glued one side, I stapled in from behind, flipped the other side, stapled it on this side after I put glue on it. And of course, there's just glue here. I left this one unpainted because I wanted to show you that, yeah, I just used yardsticks to make it. Nothing fancy. I wanted to use them up since they're just, a big pile of them making a mess in my garage sometimes. But I made 3 of these because I was making them. The other 2 went on last night onto 2 supers out there that are building up nicely, and I don't want them to get too much pressure on them and stimulate them to swarm because it's a bad time of year for doing that, but they'll swarm anyway. So I extracted some honeycomb yesterday, and I put the cleaned out frames, 5 in one, 5 in the other, above a queen excluder. They'll go up through there. They'll clean it all up over the next couple of days, and we'll see whether or not they decide to keep on working up there or not. But the main point here was be sure to think outside the box, and sometimes just be sure to look at some of the old journals because they had a lot of good ideas back then. Don't know where the idea came from that this has to be full size. I think this will work just fine. And one of these days I'll get back to you and show you whether or not it really did work as well as I think it will. But I can't think of any reason why it won't. And with beekeeping equipment costing what it's costing these days, wow. Something like this is a big savings. Have you priced a simple queen excluder with no wooden rim on it or anything lately? I used to pick up these plastic ones for $3. Now they want $10 for the plastic one. Whew, it's getting to be an expensive hobby. At any rate, this has been Beekeeping with Rich. Be sure to like and subscribe. If I come up with any more cool ideas that were first thought of back around 1900, I'll let you know. Have a great day.